Hello, people. It's Michaela Valletta reporting live from Cartagena de Indias. Let me get on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you can find me at the_Renaissance_Amazon. So let's get it. Oh, wait, let me get. Oh, I forgot my notebook. Hold on a second. Un momento. Okay. All right. Let me get on my IG. Hello to everybody in Instagram world and everybody in YouTube world. It's Michaela Valletta reporting live from Cartagena, trying to get that good light. Where's that good light? Okay. All right. So I just had to give my notes for the day. With every city, no matter what city it is, there's so many different things to see. And when I really love a place and I keep coming back, and there's different things to see. So this time, this is my second time in Cartagena. I came for the first time in May of 2018. I'm like thinking in Spanish right now, so I can't speak in English. My brain is like Spanish, English. Okay. So in May, it was hot as fuck, okay? Like super hot. It had been like one of the hottest places I'd ever been. And New Orleans is hot as hell. Santiago de Cuba is hot as hell. But Cartagena was certainly the hottest place I had ever been when I came last May. So now it's March and it's hot, but it's not as bad as May, okay? So just know that. And I love the heat, I love humidity, but this is one of the hottest, most humid places I've ever been, right? So it definitely is a lot hotter in May. The little curls that I had in my hair all came out. Okay, the other thing about Colombia, if you follow me, you know I love bikinis. I love swimsuits and bikinis, but I do not like American swimsuits, okay? They don't fit me good at all. The only time I can find bikinis and swimsuits that fit me is in Miami, and I can say Florida because one time I was in Jacksonville and I found some dope bikinis, but not in California, not in New York, not nowhere but Miami. And a lot of times they have a lot of Colombian, Brazilian, Italian stuff, right? So, and I don't like to swim. Beach is right to the beach. I'm not even a fan of the beach, but I love bikinis. And so it's hard for me to fit you can't even feel this fabric, but you see the back. See how it fits? Oh, you can't see me in the other. See? Cute back. It has a cute back to it. And you can't see it in the mic. See on Instagram. You guys can't see. See? Gotta see how this. I can't find bikinis like this in the US. So it's cut really good. It has a cute back. You see? And if you could feel, sorry, I put this camera over here. Ooh, my head. If you could feel how this fabric feels, it feels so nice. And yeah, there's so many cute bikinis and swimsuits here. Colombia is a great place to go shopping, okay? Like, their textiles, again, it's the textile capital of South America. Really dope-ass clothes and colors, well-made stuff, okay? Like these bracelets, always get compliments on these bracelets. Never mind this little white thing around. This is a band that I have to keep on my arm for the building. But people compliment these bracelets all the time, you see? And here's another one. I got these bracelets in Cartagena last May. And it's like leather. It's really dope, right? So really nice stuff here. The thing also is that it's called Cartagena de Indias. So you see a lot of artwork with indigenous people, but you see a lot of artwork with Black women. And so I took some photos today. Sometimes it's hard to take pictures because I like to blend in. I don't want to be so much of a tourist and pictures all the time, right? But Cuba had a lot of nice Black art too, but in Cartagena, you have a lot of paintings of Black women with braids, with head wraps. And today I saw a bunch of statues with Black women who breasts were out, the nipples were out, like, and the nipples were emphasized in the artwork. The nipples were really emphasized in the artwork. And the Black women had on head wraps and braids. So, then there were some where the woman's breasts were out and nipples were out, and her daughter was laying on her chest, right? So you had like a little girl laying on her chest, not a baby, but like a little girl. And the woman's braless, breast out, nipples emphasized. And then you have the images of the indigenous women, the statues. You see it other places too, but they just stand like this. And they have their little loincloth, but breast out, right? Because that's how we were before we were colonized, okay? That's how we were. And so, the thing I love about Cartagena, which is Latin culture in general is obsessed with being sexy. Cartagena definitely is that way. I'm going to speak for Cartagena because I haven't been anyplace else yet in Colombia. Colombians are known to be sexy. I'm going to Medellin next, but in Cartagena, definitely girls are walking around with little short dresses, and the men are not disrespectful, just like the neighborhood that I grew up in New York. Everything I'm saying right now, I'm like thinking in Spanish. I'm like thinking about saying it in Spanish. My neighborhood in New York is mostly Dominican. And Dominicans, you know, Dominican men may have their stereotypes about how they are in relationships. Sometimes, you know, you hear about them being crazy or whatever. But all I know is that on the streets in my neighborhood in New York, no Dominican man has ever disrespected me, ever. Never put their hands on me, never harassed me. Only thing they do is say, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful, God bless you." They may say it in English, they may say it in Spanish. They call you a goddess. God bless you, you're beautiful. That's it. And same thing here. And it's so funny because men are funny to me because I feel like when it comes to Black men and men from Latin America, like, don't try to hide what they're thinking when they see an attractive woman. So you'll see two girls walking down the street, and the old man is like looking at her butt, like he like walks out and is looking at her butt behind, and he looks at the guy across the street and he points to those girls. And these girls are walking down the street having a conversation, and all these men. And the men are so funny because it's like they can't help themselves, but they're not being disrespectful. They're not putting their hands on nobody. Like, to me, that doesn't bother me. I actually find that to be kind of funny when men act like that. And in Latin America, I feel like you see that very much, like that just role of the male and the female instead of it. Like, yes, men can do too much. Sometimes men can be disrespectful, but sometimes women can be overly sensitive. And if you're just going to get upset just because a man is looking at you, like, men are visual. And women look good, and I understand it. You know, like, look, but don't touch, but don't say nothing crazy. All these men do is like they were like, damn, you know, and God bless you, you're beautiful, you're a goddess, you know, that's it. That's it. Not overly harassing you, none of that, right? But yes, the artwork, and that's one thing I love to look at is the artwork, right? And so you see that a lot of beautiful Black women, a lot of mujeres negras, indias, and the artwork. And they nipples out, breast out. So that says something, right? That says something. And just like in New Orleans, where the woman could do, you know, they start dancing, they do whatever, the dudes don't disrespect. Just because a woman's breast and nipples are out, like, I would take this off if I could, if my video wouldn't get blocked on YouTube. Because it just feels better. No suppression, you know? It's supposed to be like that. You're supposed to get the sun on your skin. So I love being here too because I can walk around as naked as I want to and nobody has a problem with it, you know? But then when it comes to the food, let's see how the light is. When it comes to the food, the supermarkets, that's another thing I like to do when I travel. And I haven't been to Europe yet, but I'm convinced that Europe might be the only place on earth that still is giving people real food. Because the Americas, the Caribbean, South America, it's the Central America, it's the same processed crap that you see in the United States, but actually it's worse. It's actually worse. Like here, they'll have mantequilla, which is butter, but it'll say mantequilla on the package, but then really it's margarine, right? Even when I came into my Airbnb last night, the woman, there's a kitchen, and she's like, "Oh, we have fresh ajo, fresh garlic, and margarine." And I'm like, "I don't want margarine, margarine." And you see, like, I go to the supermarket and you see margarine that's being sold, like, in the advertisements they have like a picture of a cow in the grass grazing on the actual box, but it's really margarine, not butter. So it's like you see the advertising getting in people's head. I see a lot of fruit in the supermarket that's not local, So I'm like, why would you be buying these dusty-looking apples that came from who knows where when you have lots of local fresh fruit? I don't even know if all of the Caribbean fruit that's sold in the supermarket is from there. I think you have to get the local fruit from the farmers on the streets. I don't know why somebody would come in the supermarket to buy that, but same thing that you see in the U.S. Then I pick up the orange juice. I look at it. The orange juice all had all these artificial sweeteners in it, and I'm like, there's like 2 or 3 different artificial sweeteners in the orange juice, but it's being sold as Country Hill, and it has a picture of a farm and oranges. Same bullshit advertising. Okay. Then the ice cream, because I love ice cream. Okay. And it's hard for me to be any place for too long when I cannot get ice cream. Like, ice cream is an important part of my diet, and I will always say that. But I like good quality ice cream. And a lot of ice cream puts a lot of bad additives. A lot of people think that, they can't consume ice cream because of the milk. It's not the milk. It's all the other shit they put in the ice cream. Most companies put a lot of stuff in the ice cream. California, that's the ice cream capital, because California has a lot of ice cream places where they're using local ingredients, local milk from a farm, good quality grass-fed milk, local ingredients, just regular sugar, regular salt, no vegetable oils and emulsifiers and carrageenan and artificial colors and dyes. So I'm in the supermarket and I pick up ice cream. All the ice cream had vegetable oil, like a second ingredient. That's fucking poison. Not only does it taste disgusting, but it's really not good for you. That's one thing I didn't like about Costa Rica, was that I couldn't eat ice cream. If I'm someplace and I can't fucking eat ice cream for days, oh my God, you have no idea. Like, I can't wait to go back and get some ice cream. So I'm like, at least in the United States, there's a lot of different choices depending on where you are. But Haagen-Dazs is one brand you can find everywhere in the United States, and it's like the best one. But when I'm in New York, when I'm in Cali, when I'm in different places, I'll get different local brands as well. Of ice cream, but I haven't seen that in Cartagena. But a lot of Latin America, and just the Americas in general, the ice cream and the stuff they sell be nonsense, right? And they be cooking with margarine instead of butter. And you can taste the difference. So that's the issue too, like eating out. If you're gonna eat an egg and they cook it in margarine, I work really hard to get some good quality butter. And at least in the US, people are becoming more conscious of that. So there's restaurants you can go to that that they use butter. And if you ask them, is it butter? Because a lot of times in Latin America, you ask people if it's something, and they'll still tell you, yeah. And it's like, I asked for sugar today, and the guy is telling me he can give me stevia. I'm like, I didn't ask for stevia. I said, azúcar, sugar. Anyhow, the other thing, what was the other thing I was going to say? Hold on. Of course, there is Uber in Cartagena, but there's taxis everywhere, just like New York City, just like my neighborhood of Washington Heights, where Dominicans run their cab shit. And then in Brooklyn and stuff, you have the dollar bands or something. I don't really know. I know a little bit about that. But in Washington Heights, the part of New York I'm from, before Uber and all that, when we call cabs, they would tell us they would be there in 2 minutes. Before we could finish the address, they'd be like 2 minutes. They'd literally be down there in 2 minutes. And so now being here is cool because just like in Cuba too, taxis everywhere. And then you could take taxi colectivos, which is like 2,000 pesos, which is like 50 cents, right? It's 50 cents because about 4,000 pesos is about $1. So 50 cents to take a taxi with some other people, like mad far, and I'm eating stuff on the street, like I got an arepa con huevo y carne, which is an arepa, which are like these corn cakes with egg and meat for 2,000 pesos. That's 50 cents. Fresh squeezed lemonade on the street with made with green lemons, okay? Because I talk about this, like how there's different species of things. Like all watermelon is not red. There's yellow watermelon. There are green lemons, not limes, green lemons. A lot of people don't see these things, but you know, fresh squeezed green lemonade on the street, 3,000 pesos, which is less than $1, you know. And so, but with the food, you know, a lot of people just assume because they're going to the Caribbean or because they're going to South America, they're eating better quality food, but that's really not the case a lot of times. A lot of times it's worse, and a lot of times it's like harder to find because in America, the food industry has been very tricky, but the consciousness has gone up so much that there are people who will sell things where it's like, we do not use soybean oil, and we do use real butter, and we have coconut water that doesn't have chemicals in it. And, you know, so you have to be very careful. And that's why when I work with clients, I educate them about how to evaluate food and not just give them an eating plan, but you have to know how to evaluate food so you don't get tricked. I'm trying to think. Anything else I want to say about Cartagena? What else? What else? Oh, yes. You do see indigenous people. And they're like my complexion, you know? So there are a lot of people, and I have a video called Afro-Indigenous on my YouTube page, the Renaissance Amazon, where I talk about the Afro-Indigenous history in the Caribbean, North America, South America, something I've been studying for years. But yeah, when you come to South America and when you're in parts of the Caribbean, I've seen people in Haiti, people in Cuba look straight up indigenous. Okay, I remember when I was in Cuba, over by Santiago de Cuba, there were indigenous people swimming in the water, and they look straight up like out of National Geographic picture or something. Okay, same thing here. And I always say the indigenous people from South America, the Caribbean, the American South, they were not light-skinned people. They weren't. They were brown and red, brownish red. Okay, and so you see that heavy as well. So I think that I said everything I want to say today about Cartagena. I am going to dance tomorrow. I have a headache right now. Not really sure why. But yeah, it's fun to say that. I mean, I really like this place. It feels very safe, you know. All of the police are Black, Afro-Indigenous, and they don't have like shady vibes about them. I think I'm gonna need to get some more glasses down here because my glasses are all jacked up. They're probably gonna cost like $800 in the United States. I think I can get them much cheaper here. Oh, a lot of girls with fake breasts. Like I definitely saw a lot of like huge breast implants, and they look so fake and they so uncute. And I'm like, why are these women doing this? Because men all day long, like, are about to walk into something looking at me. You know, like this dude, he had me laughing because he was on a bike, but all these cars where with a road, you know, went into two different parts, and he just turned around looking at me the whole time, and I'm looking at him like, dude, turn around before you crash and hurt yourself because there's a lot going on right now. So focused on looking back at me. That type of shit. And I'm like, I don't have any breast implants. You know what I'm saying? So why are these girls? I mean, there's a lot of beautiful women in Colombia. You know, yes, there's fake ones. There's a lot of really beautiful women in Colombia. And in Cartagena is very brown. Like if you are white, and there's white people who speak Spanish, there's white Hispanics. I'm always telling people that. There are white people who look like Molly from Idaho who speak Spanish and are from Spanish-speaking countries. You have to think of Spanish-speaking countries as South America, the Caribbean, the same as North America. In North America, we have white people. In North America, we have Black people, even though Black, put that in quotes, because it's defined differently depending on where you are. Latin America doesn't define race the same way that North America does. Jamaica doesn't define race the same way. The United States says 1 drop of Black blood makes you Black. That's not the rule in Brazil, Colombia, and Puerto Rico, where they have all these different, for somebody who is, you know, Indian and Spanish, you got the mestizos, you got the people that's African, Indio, you got the Negros, like, they have all these different, even like I think in Cuba, I think like Moreno meant the free Blacks and Negro was not the free Blacks. So it's like they categorize things all kinds of different ways. So race is a social construct, right? But in America, we have Black Americans who a lot of times are a mixture of Native American and European too, in different degrees. And then we have Chinese Americans and Japanese Americans, and same thing here. You have Native Americans, you have Afro-Colombians, who sometimes might just be straight up African, because you have Palenque de San Basilio, which is it's a free territory close to Cartagena of free blacks who, just like the Geechees in South Carolina and stuff, who were always free, and they have their own language, Palenquero. They have their own language that is like a mixture of African words and stuff like that. It's like their own type of Creole. And so you have people here who might be straight up, descendants of Africans. And even then, a lot of times they still mix with the indigenous people. Then you have the indigenous people. Then you got the Afro-indigenous people. Then you got the people who are straight from the Spanish, who look, the straight up whites. Okay? So people need to understand that when you come to Latin America, you see it's a mixed race, mixed ethnicity. All Hispanics, all Puerto Ricans aren't black. All Cubans aren't black. All Dominicans aren't black. Yes, some Dominicans are black. Some Dominicans are indigenous. Some are white. Same thing as North America. I don't know why when people speak Spanish, all of a sudden people don't understand it. Just like there are white Jamaicans and there are white Haitians, because Haiti was colonized by the French, Jamaica was colonized by the British, and some of those white people stayed behind. Haiti is a nation. Jamaica is a nation. It is not a race. So you have white Jamaicans, white Haitians, white, Americans, whatever. So in Cartagena in particular is very black. Like Bogota is not that way. Cartagena is very black. You hear reggae all day, African music, salsa. People are sweet. There's good-looking men. There's good-looking women. You can drink and walk down the street just like you can in New Orleans. Girls are walking around with tight things, and it's okay. Nobody's tripping. The girl doesn't have to feel like she's going to get attacked or anything. It's dope. I highly recommend coming to Cartagena. And I've spent you can find cheap tickets. There's an app I use called Skipland and a website to find cheap flights. But when you're flexible about when you can travel, that's when you can find cheaper things. But my ticket down here from Chicago was $89 one way on Spirit. And then with the bag, it was looking at $31. And then I fly from here to Medellin on Saturday, and that ticket was like $45 to fly from here to Medellin. And it's like an hour flight, Medellin, Colombia. And then next week, I'll fly to DC, and my ticket was about $200. It was like $189 or something from Medellin to DC. And then plus my bag, which was $31. So it wasn't, and then my Airbnb, like in Cartagena, is like $45 a night. My Airbnb in Medellin is about the same, about $45 a night, and really beautiful places. Can't show you the inside because I'm sitting out here doing this, but really beautiful balconies. Colombia is definitely the shit, definitely worth it. Cartagena is what I can speak on for now. So that's my notes for now. I need to, in the artwork, I already talked about the artwork and the textiles and the colors. Really, really good. Very good. And I will talk more about it. I'll talk more about it tomorrow after I do some more things, okay? Definitely take a look at my previous YouTube videos on Cartagena from last year, and I hope you all have a good day. Thanks for listening. And you know what? This smells so good because when I bought this, I just wish I could wear this all day. But I bought this bikini and this swimsuit. I don't usually like one pieces. I don't think they look good on me. I think I usually have to have two pieces. So this is really cute, and I love things with a cute back. See, let me show you. See the back. I didn't take my tag out. Tag is still here. But you see the back of it? I love things with a cute back. Nice material, well made. And my body is hard for me to find swimsuits that fit me because a lot of times things are made for girls with big breasts. So if you're not top heavy, sometimes it's hard to find things that actually fit and look nice. So I'm just excited about that. I like different things too. I like to be different. And Colombia is definitely a place where you can find that. And the Black women in Colombia have a lot of braids. Same thing in Cuba. You don't see black women walking around with weaves and trying to straighten their hair. Actually, a lot of them have braids. Very Afrocentric. Very Afrocentric. Okay, people. Thanks for listening. I'm going to go get rid of this headache. I'm going to go eat some more food. Tomorrow I will dance and report some more. Okay? Yeah. Bye. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram.